Welcome, friends. Thanks for listening. This is Ed Hartman, and you're listening to the Ed Hartman's Wild World of Music and Film. That's right, we're talking about tunes and pictures and stuff like that. I've been doing a lot of interviews with filmmakers, and it's been a lot of fun, learning a lot about filmmaking every day. Besides being a composer, as you might have heard before, I have kind of become a filmmaker of sorts. Besides doing a lot of YouTube videos over the years and owning a Super 8 camera when I was a kid, I've been involved as a producer of a 1938 film called As the Earth Turns. And it's on Amazon. It's heading to Turner Classic Movies if you want to hear kind of full-fledged orchestral scoring with a silent film that was never seen for 80 years, except for family and friends. And that's a whole story in itself. We could do a whole episode on that or 10. But what I want to do today is continue a discussion I did previously about film scoring. And I first kind of thought about what my process was as far as putting piano track down and then orchestrating from there, and kind of just explaining how I work with filmmakers, for either filmmakers out there or composers that might be interested. And again, a lot of us work similarly, but there's different processes out there. What I want to do today is I alluded to electronic music as being kind of a whole different sort of a thing, and it is true. I mean, you're not really orchestrating things out the same way, although you could create a piano track and then use electronic, instruments to do it. But a lot of ambient music that's used in sci-fi or modern movies isn't really lyrical that much. It doesn't really have themes. It could, but it's more what we call ambient. And so what I'm going to try and do here, and I don't know if I'm going to be successful at this, but I may have to go back and fix it. We'll see. But is to give you some ideas of how I kind of approach this. And I've opened up, I use Logic on a Mac. I've been using it for many years. And it has tons of synthesizers that have already been added. And you can just play around with them. One of my favorites is called Sculpture. Now, I used real analog synthesizers growing up. I was from that era, and I still have some kind of floating around, but frankly, it's easier to do it this way. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you do it. And there's a lot of presets and things like that. So this is just a basic, what we call pad. Let's see if we can make this sound right. Yeah. There you go. That could be almost anything, couldn't it? It's a drone. Now, if I add an octave below, ooh, sounds a little more mysterious. I can also control its volume and its intensity. That tends to make it sound a lot more natural. A lot of times people just play these things without any dynamics. Now if I kind of add other notes above and below, I'm staying within the same key. Again, it's very friendly, not a big problem. I could make it more major, and all of a sudden, it's a lot lighter. But then I could make it more dark. But there's no rhythm here, it's just long tones. When I start building, it really starts to get creepy. All the high pitches now, no lows. I could do that all day. And that's one sound. I mean, that's crazy. If I go to a different pad, this is bamboo air strings. We'll see what it sounds like. Isn't that pretty? Asian quality to it, kind of bendy notes. I could add a little more of an Asian scale quality to it. Yeah. So, again, a lot of stuff here. I'll get a little more touring here. The more plucky stuff. So these are kind of loosely based on more organic sounds, but kind of changed a little bit as well. Again, some slower stuff. That's kind of reminiscent of a piece of music that I did in high school with a buddy in electronic music class. Bud Sibley, greeting card salesman. Anyway, that's not it. Excuse me. Battle of the Delirious Vacuum Cleaners. I think that's on my website if you go to music under 1975 archives. We were doing it with synthesizers and a mixing board and reel-to-reel tape recorders, and this wonderful guy did incredible vocals with that too. His name is Mark Amft, and we connected a few years ago on Facebook, so miracles happen. So up to now, there hasn't really been a lot of rhythm in the music we've been demonstrating. And I'm a percussionist, so, I can add all sorts of live drum set and congas, hand drums, things like that. But for this, to kind of make it a little easier, I'm going to use a brand new device I got. It's a controller using pads, little pads. It's a Akai MPD 218, and it's got 16 pads on it, and you can assign them any number of sounds. I can assign them synthesizer sounds or percussive sounds as well. So to demonstrate this instrument, I've changed the sound to kind of electronic trap kit, drum kit. Something you'd hear kind of in hip-hop, that sort of thing. It has really low bass. But I'm hitting a pad to do this rather than a keyboard. I can do it on the keyboard like that, but sounds same to you, right? Anyway, there's kind of usually snare sounds. Again, I tend to use real drums when I can. Now, one thing I have to do if I'm going to do this kind of turn into loops, I have to hit my click track like this. You can hear that, I'll bet, right? And then I can play along. I'll do this again. Now what I've done, I'll take off the click, and you're going to hear, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that click, but it doesn't matter. I got the loop now going by itself, and that allows me at other instruments, like a different arpeggiation. something else, like strings. How about some bass? Yeah. So what about more, kind of percussion going? I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean, that sort of thing. So I'm going to use my little handy electronic pad to kind of get some groove going. I'm going to turn on the click. I don't know if you can hear this, but... Yeah, now we got a groove going. So let me do a little more of that. I'm going to create a little loop from it. Now I'm going to add some low cellos, kind of doing some fast, repeated stuff. We'll build with some higher strings. Add a little bit of piano. Add a little bit of cymbal crashes and bass drums. A little bit of bass arpeggios. Then we'll add a little bit of electric guitar on top. What the heck? So you can see why people do this. It's just unbelievably fun to do. To get paid to do it, even better. Yeah. So, again, this is using Logic, and just really, the only thing I used that wasn't out of the box was the play instruments, the east-west fast strings, things like that. I think the regular violins I had were BBC Spitfire strings or something like that, and they were like free. So anyway, yeah. So stuff is really pretty amazing out there. It can be a little on the paint by number side. I mean, the fact that I can do this kind of live is kind of freakish in a way, but I would go back and really clean this up. I might do a little bit after this, but mostly this is for demonstration to see how quickly one can theoretically score a film or just create a track or something like that. This is why it's a business. Music licensing is a business of quantity. You create loops and grooves and stuff like that. So I'm thinking what might be kind of interesting here is I'm going to pull a couple of tracks that I've done previously. This one is called Solar Eclipse. And so this is a nice example of a track that has arpeggiation in it, electronic arps, nice melodic build on top, some deep bass, very ambient but still has movement to it. A little bit of percussion. Building arpeggios. There you go. That's a nice arp there. I think that's the, what's that called? Alchemy. And then this is a really super opposite concept. This is all percussion, cymbals, things like that. This track's called Mindscape. I don't want to put everybody to sleep there. So this is a new track of mine. It's called Circle of Dark Dreams. It's more orchestral ambient. And finally, this is one of my favorite tracks. It was from years ago, pre-DAW, pre-Logic, A Walk in the Night Gallery. I don't know, that track scares me to this day. It has backward sounds. I have one more track I want to play for you real quick here, and this is from a film that I scored with Lucas Hassel. He's a really great filmmaker and actor. He's been on a lot of TV shows. Anyway, he did a wonderful film. Anyway, it's the Son, the Father. It's really a wild film, filmed in Seattle as part of a Holly Shorts thing. This is the ending credits. I took the dialogue and reversed it as the lyrics. So those are some examples of ambient electronic music, different ways you can explore all this stuff as a composer, or if you're a filmmaker, you're looking for a score that's less orchestral, and you want something like this. One thing about electronic scores is they're generally cheaper to do because you don't need to hire other musicians to do them. So they are kind of a fallback typically for scores with lower budgets. Hybrid scores that have a little bit of electronics and orchestral instruments or live instruments. One great trick is you add one live instrument. It can be a triangle, I swear to God, and all of a sudden your track's going to come alive and be very, very interesting. So hope you enjoyed this little soiree here and got something out of it. My website, edhartmanmusic.com, has lots and lots of tracks you can check out. Again, I'm always happy to talk to filmmakers about scoring films. That's really one of my big goals in life. So please let me know if I can help you in some way. I know a lot about film festivals these days and a little bit about distribution too. So I'm happy to help filmmakers in a lot of ways. So anyway, thanks a lot very much and hope to see you down the road.